Last week's video update showed the broader Marin County real estate market was cooling down faster than your overpriced oat milk lattes. And this week, we are narrowing in on the core of it all. Single-family homes. No condos, no townhomes, just Marin County single-family homes for sale. And here's the juicy part. I'm also showing how Marin stacks up against the 4 U.S. cities with the biggest price drops since the market peak, and 50% of those are Marin County neighbors. Ouch. So let's get to it. I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor, helping you buy or sell in Marin without losing your sanity. Use the link below in the description to do all the fun stuff, like book a free video consultation or sign up for my free monthly newsletter that shows exactly which homes sold, how much they sold over or under list, and all the math too. No fluff, just the real numbers. Market context. The bigger drop-off. Let's zoom out and look at how Marin compares to some of the hardest hit markets in the country. We're talking price drops from the peak in May 2022 to where things stand now in May 2025, and the numbers are pretty rough. This is the #1 biggest drop in the United States from the peak in May to May of this year. That's Austin. Kind of not so surprising, right? Because it was like the highest going up as well. So what goes up must come down. And you can see that right here, right? Very, very steep, and now it's down. So how much is it down? It's down 21.5%. But by the way, way back here, which was like in 2020, this first price, that looks super high too. So it's a tough place for buyers, right? Because if you decide not to buy because you think prices are too high, which it looked really high here too, right? Well, then it continued to go up and we aren't even back to like this level. Anyway, side point there. Let's do the next one. The next biggest drop is just across the bay from us in Oakland. Oakland has seen a drop of 19.2% from the height in May 2022. And the third biggest drop is New Orleans, and that is down 16.7%. And in fourth place is San Francisco, and San Francisco is down 15.1%. Okay, so now let's talk Marin. And first of all, let me apologize that this chart is not as pretty as the other ones, but I had to find these numbers somewhere. Okay, so back in May of 2022, which is the information that those other charts were looking for, that would be right here. And then now we are down here. So this number was the median price for a single family home, to make these all the same, was $1,846,000 and some change. And then down here, it is $1,623,000 and some change. What this represents, which is what you're waiting for, is a 12% drop. So yes, Marin County home prices are slipping, but not as fast or hard as some of our neighbors, probably because, let's be honest, Marin's still one of the best places to live, well, basically in the whole world. But here's the part that should grab your attention. 2 of the 4 biggest price drop cities in the US, Oakland and San Francisco, are right next door. And while you won't see Marin on any national top 10 housing market decline list, because none of our cities are big enough to even make the cut, if we were big enough as a county, our 12% drop since the 2022 peak, well, that would rank Marin at number 5. Yikes. That's a stat you likely won't see anywhere else, and it's pretty telling. And hey, these videos take time and money and caffeine to make, and no, YouTube is not paying my bills. So when you like or comment, and particularly subscribe, it tells the algorithm that this content is worth sharing. And that actually keeps my channel going. So thank you for helping me to keep doing these videos. Okay, on to the charts. Okay, I'm gonna do this a little differently this time. I'm not going to be on the screen where you see my little face talking, because I wanted to make the charts as big as possible. It would be great if you could let me know in the comments what you prefer. You want to see my face or you want to see just the charts during this part? So we are talking about Marin inventory for single family homes. The inventory is here on these light green bars, and you can see the big increase of inventory from month over month. But more than that, it's, the huge amount that it's gone in the last several months. Now, it does do that every year, of course. Inventory goes up. But the fact that we're getting to these kind of numbers is significant. So as you can see, for for sale homes, those light green bars, that's up 14.5% since last month. And when you compare it to last year, it's up 35.6%. So that's the important number we're looking at. Now, I would love to tell you the more significantly relevant number on the quarterly basis, but the way these numbers are run, this is always just a match to what I just cited. However, the new listing number works, and we can see there was a decline month over month in new listings. That's a big drop right there. And there was a decline when you compare it to last year. But when you do the more statistically relevant number of the full quarter, new listings are also up 2.4%. And although home sales are also up, as you can see here for the quarterly basis, overall, things are taking long enough to sell, and the new listings have accounted for inventory just continuing to increase. And now we're looking at days on market. That's these orange bars here. You can see that days on market, average days on market has decreased for several months in a row. That's totally normal for spring because there's more buyers. Homes aren't sitting on the market quite as much, and that was represented by a negative 17.2%. That was from here to here. And then when you looked at the same time last year, it's also homes selling faster. But when you look at the quarterly numbers, the more statistically relevant numbers, it does show that days on market is up from last year, which overall suggests less buying than last year as far as the pace of it. You can see that reflected as well up here when we look at the sales price over the original list price, that actually declined, which is showing a bit of a weakening as well, or perhaps sellers are dropping their house prices quicker than they did at this time last year. Okay, and now we're looking at the prices. Yay! The blue bars here are the median price. The red line is the average sold price. And although you can see the up here and the up there, when we look at those quarter numbers, those much more statistically relevant number, because it includes so many more homes than just a single month, you can see that compared to this time last year for the entire quarter, we are down in price 6.1%, and in average price, we are also down 8.5%. These are big numbers and really demonstrate the entire shifting of the market from a seller's market toward a buyer's market. We're not there yet. We're not in a total buyer's market, but we do seem to be making that shift now. And our last little bit of evidence is with the average square foot sold price. You can see that it did decrease from just month over month, but again, we're more interested in those quarterly numbers, and what we see here is down negative 0.6% in price per square foot. So not only is the total price down on a quarterly basis, but so is the price per square foot, lending more evidence to a weaker market. Next week, I'll bring you all the surprises for condos and townhouses in Marin County. The numbers are always way different than all of the county or this one on single family homes. So don't miss it if that's what you're looking for or you just want to have more information. And if you are looking for more information about living in Marin County, or you are curious about buyer and seller information, there should be some helpful video recommendations popping up right now. Thank you for watching and have a great day.